Hey guys, it's Stacking Pennies, Corey LaJoy, and Ryan Flores here, breaking down Las Vegas. Like we told you, pull the tape. Joey Logano cashes in that house money. Now he's racing for a championship. You can't give that 22 team life, but they did. They messed around and they did. We're going to talk about that as well as AJ Allmendinger joining the show. He's racing for a championship as well this week. It's going to be a great show. Buckle up. This is Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey friends, Corey here, driver of the number 51 Ford Mustang, along with Ryan Flores, front tire changer of Ryan Blaney's Ford Mustang. How's it going, buddy?
We're fine.
Yeah?
Teammates in. We had a rough weekend. Man, we've wrecked in every round.
What?
Watkins Glen we wrecked. We wrecked at Talladega. Now we've wrecked here. We've wrecked in every round of the playoffs so far.
That's not good.
It's not great, but we've transferred, so maybe it's just part of the.
You wrecked twice this weekend too.
Yeah.
He had a big shunt.
Flat tire.
Was it a flat tire or was it on the rub block?
Hole in it.
Oh no.
Yeah, ran something over on the apron. Mule not happy with SMI racetracks right now. So yeah, didn't even.
Oh no,
even
right rear down for sure. Oh no. Okay.
I think it was left rear.
Let's see. Oh, left rear's flat for sure. Oh my. You're only going like 194 at that point, so onboard camera if you're watching on YouTube. Oh. Oh, ouch, that hurts real bad.
Right. That knocked you out one time.
At Charlotte, yeah, I took a little nappy nap.
Yeah.
But
we had it
12
going.
bunch gets the backup car dialed in.
I got a
Starts
cool
tail.
story. I didn't know
Tell
this. So they had they were there, everybody. I think it shows the strength of your whole company, not just your team, when you crash like that, because everybody is all hands on deck. You got 3 car chiefs, 3 underneath guys, 3 of everything, and everybody's pulling the weight. And everybody works well together. It really makes a team stronger when you go through stuff like that. Not just the team, but the whole company. But the wrap is by far the hardest part.
And most time consuming.
Yes. And there's a guy out there.
Because I think you're allowed 1 backup car per 2 cars. So Penske's bringing 3 or 2 backup cars.
Yeah.
So none of them are wrapped.
None of them are wrapped. So there was a guy there that walked up that was like, hey, I do this for a living. I'm a wrap business. He's like, you need help? They're like, absolutely.
Really?
So he helped wrap the car.
That's sick.
And his kid, he had a young kid that just sat there the whole time.
Love that.
Yeah, so that was
Did
really
you get his
cool.
name? Shout out to that fella.
I didn't get his name. I just heard this secondhand, but shout out to them. Geisler's good like that, man. He's like
I saw Geisler after the race. I went to Victory Lane. I don't go to Victory Lane unless it's like a good buddy. And I was like, I'm gonna go say congrats to Joey. And we were kind of walking through like that little chute there.
Yeah.
And Geisler walks up. I'm like, I told him this week. They can't give you life.
Nope.
Because they'll take it. Paul Wolf now the winningest active crew chief ahead of Allen, who's
Rodney Childers,
and Rodney Childers. 40. Paul Wolf separates himself from the rest. So congrats to those guys. We talked about it. Higgy, pull the tape from last week. Put it in here.
Yep.
We called it. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
And a guy you don't want to give something free to is Joey Logano, because that boy is dangerous at these next 3 racetracks.
He is. You can't give those guys a free shot at it.
No, and they were right in. So, like, there's a lot of people that are going to say, and we'll probably get there, but we just talk about it right now, like Chris Bell's strategy. Chris Bell had to do what he had to do. He had the fastest car.
Yeah.
You have to take that approach.
Yes.
He is a away, maybe 15 car lengths away from winning that race.
I think it's closer than that.
And, when they look at it, Joey was in the perfect position, backside of the top 10, maybe mid to like, all right, hey.
I think he was 5th or 6th.
Wherever he was. He ran between 10th and 5th all day.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we're going to take a stab at it here. Like, because if nothing else, we're going to jump some guys and get more points.
Yep.
And then it kind of pops up where Blaney gets behind them and can draft with them down the straightaways a little bit, and they get to the 99. It's
I've
like,
heard
oh,
of
shit,
that
we
a
can
couple
win this.
times. Do we have a video of that, Higgy?
I didn't see it either. I just heard at one point, like,
I feel like we're jumping around a little bit, pretty
Yeah, we
usual.
are.
But so you guys get caught up in that wreck with the 45 and the 6 and the 2 and so the 19 started it. We're gonna break. I guess we have that video, Hig.
we'll get that later. Let's just cover
Yeah,
Joey first.
Let's cover Joey first, and that 22 guys punching their ticket. Every year since the Championship 4 has been a thing, every other year, every even year, the 22's in it. 2014, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24.
And
That's
the
amazing.
most playoff berths for any driver since the inception of this. So this is where he catches the 99. This is the pass for the win.
This
so
is
Blaney
5
was
to
getting
go.
a big run, and then he'd just give Joey a push. It's like GoPro Motorplex when you're drafting with your buddy.
So Joey's really dependent on where the 84 goes here. So the 84 just clears it, but 22 is able to roll bottom, clear him.
The 99's in super save mode there, though, for some reason.
Well, it was a long run. We went this long strategy as well. So look, he's not a straightaway back. This is coming to the checker.
No, I
He's
know. That's
5
why I
cars
thought
back.
of that. Yeah, he's there.
Also, Joey is running like 32 50s here. The 20 is about a second and a half faster than him on new tires, chasing him down.
That's why it's called team, right? That's teamwork.
There ain't no I in team, but there's an ME.
Everybody did a good job on that 22 team. That's why Paul Wolf's the winningest guy there. That is, I think, the number one thing that I've learned as a racer being at Penske for the last decade. Find a way. Whether it was when they won the championship with Dodge, whether, it's every year, this time, everybody digs their heels in and finds a way to get a car in the championship 4 and give yourself a chance.
So how's that 12 team going to find a way now?
We're going to either win Homestead or Martinsville or just run good. We've run good. I feel like we could have won Homestead last year. We got side drafting deal with Denny and we finished maybe second. And then we dominated Martinsville. These are 2 races that we can win. We're a strong enough team. And, we're 40-something out, but there's a lot of issues right now. And you can lose a lot of points. So you just have to go and keep being a championship team every week. This time of year, there's no real clear-cut strategy. You have to run in the top 3 all day and get top 3 stage points and put yourself in position to win. It's simple. And anybody that thinks that they're going to, point, I need this many points, I need that. It's not how it works, dude. You have to execute at a high level
That's right. Well, there's a lot of stuff to cover. Where do we even start? There's a huge crash. The 3, I didn't see it. I heard the 31 plugged them. That's a big lick, dude.
Dude, it was a big lick.
I drove by that unit on the apron. I'm like, oh, dude, the right front was in the freaking firewall.
Yeah, I wonder what the G's were on his black box there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeesh. Well, the 31 really got him in there. Oh, ouch, dude.
That's almost a hold my watch type situation.
Yeah.
Daniel's like the nicest guy in the
He
garage.
really is, but that's going to be an awkward competition meeting because college guys go into RCR and talk about how their day went. 31's day did not help the 3's day very much. He pointed out, hey, we got problems.
Yep, I'll see you
We got some
tomorrow.
problems. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Tuesday.
Meet me at the bike rack. No, they have the train tracks there at RCR. Meet me up at the train
Maybe at
tracks.
the train tracks.
Yeah.
That was a big lick from Austin Dillon. Glad to see him walk away. Curious what the G load of that.
Did you hear
crash
that?
Was what?
It might be putting the cart in front of the horse here for you, Higgy. A piece of his wheel went into Kyle Larson's nose. Like the wheel came apart so much that they came in. They had something hanging out of their nose, like right at the left front splitter, and they pulled it out, and it still had the 3 decal on it, like a big piece of aluminum. Yeah.
Do we have a picture of that?
I don't know. Do you guys have that video? Yeah, here it is. See, look, there
it is.
That was from the 3 car. So this is where the 5 cars they start going.
Super sensitive aero position there in that left front bumper. A lot of pressure.
Look at Cliff.
What is this? We'll return this to them.
Yep.
They might need this.
Yeah, that was a piece of the lip of the wheel. So that's a big hit, man. When you disintegrate a wheel and all that, you got to think, man. At the other end of that wheel is Austin Dillon's hands.
Yeah.
So
and his head.
yeah.
But the biggest incident of the day with the most playoff ramifications was this incident here. 3 wide. The 19 comes off turn 4 as if he is 2 wide, bottom of 2. Well, contrary to what you might think, no, he is bottom of 3 with the 9 to his right side, as well as the 45 is out there as well. And
he just grabs a gear.
Ends the 45's day.
I'm all right, Harry. No.
Well, TJ Bell spotted for me this weekend. He's like, the 45 just flipped over, and then he just drove away from it. I was like, at that point in time, we hadn't got the handle right on our car yet. We were still struggling. I said, he's probably still going to be faster than us.
Oh, man. Well, there was a lot of frustration with a lot of people here. Chase Elliott was frustrated with the 45.
Why?
Because he felt like in that point of the race, the 45 shouldn't have taken that run, and the 19.
So did he plug it out there late?
Yeah, watch it again. So they're racing the 19 and the 19 and the 9 are racing.
Oh.
So the 19 and the 9 are, here's us. So this has big implications for us too.
Back her down. Oh no, they're coming. No.
Yeah, we were just that close. What happened to the 2 car? By what?
I was trying not to hit Jimmy Johnson. That was my only intention there. Jimmy's in front of me, like, oh God, no!
Could anybody else other than Jimmy?
Yeah, could anybody else be in front of me? I'll hit them.
Oh man. So go back to that wreck. Hig.
Get back to the wreck. So okay.
So
real late out of the 45.
So I heard that Tyler was frustrated with Drew Herring, who is
the 19 spotter, but
I don't know.
Well,
either way, everybody's going to be mad because it's a racing accident.
It's a racing accident. It's a restart.
The 9 car knew that they were going to be 3 wide because he shaded down.
Yeah, but
the 19 did not know.
Everybody could have done something different to not have that happen, right? The 45 could have showed a touch more patience and just let the 9 come up. But he had a run. He had some clean air. He was going to try to take the run and put the 9 in the bad spot. The 19 and Drew on the roof was calling it probably, I assume, like they were 2 wide with the 9 until the 45 put it 3 wide late top. The 9 could also have covered the top lane more and not gave the 45 a sniff. It's all easy to say sitting here on Monday looking at it. Yeah. Run it back one more time for the people on YouTube.
I would say that those 2 guys, the 9 and the 19, are the 2 that probably still race with the most etiquette.
Yeah. Yes. So that's where
etiquette.
That's where I've gotten myself in trouble a couple times too. It's like if you're the guy in the middle in the 9 spot, you don't want to go have to cover that thing late because you just anticipate that guy cutting you a break, but nobody cuts breaks anymore.
The 9 tried to bail.
He tried to bail. He's tried to get out of it, but he was just in a bad spot with the 19 coming up in the 45 there.
Can you show our in-car again? I love watching this stuff because you don't get to see it. I didn't even know that Tyler Reddick flipped until after the race. Because
I was under caution. Here we go. In-car camera to 12. So the orange car here up in front of you. Howdy. Oh, so he got barely tagged in the left rear.
Okay.
And then the same car that hit him, the 6 also hit you as well. Bradley.
Not saying it's Brad's fault, but it's always Brad. Whether it's Talladega.
This is where we actually got our car driving halfway decent. We got it off the stops a little bit, and the 11 was get a little bit of a run here, get a little tight. Oh, I was like, oh no, sorry, Denny.
So
I don't know what happened to him that run. He was not good. He was coming backwards. Oh, he took 2. That'll do it.
Yeah. So, and you finished 12th in this stage.
Yeah. So we did the long. Yeah, he did. I gave it to him.
He probably said, Corey LaJoy.
Yeah. Driving like a dummy. Come on, people on Reddit. Just keep on piling on.
So, yeah, let's transition to your day. So, we got through the 12. We got through the 22.
So, we unloaded.
So, you're looking at practice times. Not very good.
If there is something that was underneath not very good, we were that. We were slow and it drove bad. I don't know how we missed it. At
Vegas, if it's sketchy, it's going to be slow.
For sure, because you got to be in the throttle a lot. So somehow we got off on what we anticipated our heights being versus the pace. And also, I believe Vegas is getting more content in the racetrack. I think it's getting more bumpy as the years go on, naturally. So that's what we need to go figure out in our comp meeting tomorrow of like what is our translation between sim and our heights versus reality, because we missed it by like 3/16 of an inch, which is a lot.
A lot in this world. Yeah, we're
so
talking
it took
about
us
thousands.
from practice, couple different shots at it, qualifying still on the stops, start the race better but still on the stops.
Oh, you were too low.
We were
Your
too low.
3/16's too low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it's on the shock limiter, so it's essentially a strut rod at that point. And it feels like the left rear tire literally it's on a strut, essentially on a strut rod because it's got no
Just
spring.
solid,
It's solid.
yes.
And it's pushing the tire and squeezing the
That's how you
sidewall.
blow left rears.
And like basketballing, right? It'll squeeze it, like bop, 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 and the whole car pop,
So
pop,
the
pop,
first
pop, pop.
year of the next gen, when we saw those blown left rears, that's what it was.
Yep.
Everybody was doing that because they were trying to get lower to get their
Diffuser height lower.
So that's good, but like
So
what
then-
I was impressed with looking at it from 40,000 feet is you guys unloaded poorly, both Rick Ware cars. But I think that's where your strong suit fits what Rick Ware needs, and vice versa, because those guys are racers like you, and you, at the end of the day, you guys scratch and claw, make your stuff better. Everybody works together, pulls the rope, and you come out of there with a top 15 finish.
Yeah. So also two top 15s in the first 4 races with those guys. I'm super pumped up about that. We spent an hour after qualifying just like, okay, where are we at? What do we got to do to make this unit better? Because we were the last row in qualifying. So I knew that if we got the thing driving okay, the balance is going to be okay.
That's the fun stuff, though, isn't it?
I
Trying
love
to
it.
figure it out. I mean,
love it.
it's not fun not unloading well, but when you work together, like I'm telling you, and we talk about it later again with AJ, but it's like when you are in the trenches and making the race car better or making a team better, that is where that's where I feel as a racer the most fulfilled.
Yeah, I love it. Because it's a challenge, and because you're also doing it against other professionals that are also very good at it, right? So when you can take what starts off the weekend is not very good, and you make it what I would consider, 14th for the how weekend started was a win. So we went long.
14th is a win anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not where you want to run, but if you look at, no OEM support, I'm sure you're the first car with no OEM support. Like that's a huge deal.
There's not very many of those teams left. There's only probably 3.
So then, I don't know. I just think that when a team can work together, and I think maturity is a huge thing, because a lot of times you see teams that unload that bad, and it's
mailed in.
Just destructive language, like not pulling the rope, blaming, pointing fingers. And to sit down, with Chris Lawson, probably Jerry Kelly, and Tommy Baldwin wasn't there. Shout out to Luke Baldwin.
Did he
winning
win
the Smart Tour Championship?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
awesome for him.
Who won those 2 modified races?
Justin Bonsignor won both of them.
He did.
Yeah, he took over the points lead from
Ronnie
Silk, and he tied the reg for second or third all time.
That's cool. Shout out Justin.
It's so funny because I had a video, and those old school modified guys are like, Reggie's like, "Hey, Justin, congrats on tying me. Took you a long time. Maybe you'll get some more. I don't know if you won the championship or not yet because I'm filming this kind of now, but good job." it's like such a racer.
Yeah, those guys aren't going to give like a pat on the back.
No.
Nobody's making them a cameo
It's just
video.
race car drivers. They're just like, at the end of the day, it's like
pride,
man. The egos and pride.
That's it.
But anyway, I don't know. You seemed a little bit like you got your swagger back because of the situation you're in.
I feel like that. Well,
if you would have spun Denny out there, though, man, I would have deleted my Twitter. Jeez, I can't take any more of that. I'm tapped out on it for the year.
Yeah, and I cracked it a couple times, let him straighten it out. But for me, just to be new sites, new people, but to see how hard those guys work make me want to work harder. Whether that's more conversations about how to make the cars better, whatever it is, like those, like Jerry Kelly and Tommy and Chris Lawson, even Rick Ware, Robbie Benton, those guys like have genuine passion for what they do, and there's no fluff. So they've made me want to like be more intentional with meetings and take better notes and be more plugged into the delta between practice and the race. Like And it's fun because you know that those guys are working equally as hard and care about the product.
They're working harder than anybody in the garage, I would say, with the resources they have compared to
everybody works hard but different, right? They're doing
different.
that team is doing, every person's doing the role of probably 2 other people.
Yes. So shout out
whether it's at the shop, whether it's at the racetrack. It's like that's those 8 guys on the 51. That's it. Shout
out to Rick Ware and the guys.
They had a good day. Well, Cody had a good day too. He ran 4 or 5 spots behind me, finished 21st. Rick Ware and I were talking about before the race. The conversation with all of you, but hey, you gonna gamble a little bit? You gonna play a little blackjack and play a little craps? And Rick's like, I gamble every week with 2 cars, pushed all on black. If you think about it, it's $500,000 per car.
Yeah.
Like with the opportunity for those to come back in a ball. Yeah. And he pushes them all on black every weekend just because he loves it. Obviously, there's a business model there that he's trying to keep going as well. But I felt good leaving the plane at Concord this week. Felt like we did a good job. So
that's good. The 41 there didn't come without some peril. The 41.
So this is the last run of the day. Guys are coming on new tires. Oh my goodness, what a moment!
Oh my.
So we're on the long strategy here.
So you are on the Joey Logano strategy.
Yep. Huge moment for the 41 on low air. So this is the second lap he's out on tires. Oh,
dude, that's a widowmaker right there, buddy.
That's a widowmaker. So actually,
thank God he saved it because Joey would have never won.
Right. So Ryan Preece saved it, hit the fence. The fence caught him, or he was going out the ballpark.
He'd have been on the strip.
He would have been
down there at the circus.
When you come out of a green flag pit stop on low air, it's going to hit the rub block. It's going to hit the diffuser because the tire height from the time of low air to peak air, if you will, is probably about a half inch, I'm guessing, of height. So that's the difference of that thing being on the blocks or not over the bumps. And if you commit to full grip for what you had and you get on the stops, you are a passenger. And that's what we saw at the 41.
I was happy you didn't touch him. He'd have been down there grabbing your helmet again.
I know, slapping me around a little bit. I'm just minding my business. What else we got? Headlines.
Yeah, we got the headlines from the weekend. So hey, I did see biggest headline. There was obviously major playoff implications, but last week, did you see the video of Alex Bowman?
I read the story first. I haven't seen this.
It's pretty funny. Listen to him explain it.
Hang on. So all of this sets up with the 48 car being too light last week,
yes.
Right? Which now has
put the 22 into the playoffs. They were out.
Now is putting the 22 racing for a championship.
Correct.
So this several dominoes have fallen, guys, and let's hear what Bowman's take on it because he was on the short end of this whole transaction.
Blake called me. Wasn't sure about things, and then the next thing I got was your tweet, and I proceeded to throw my phone in the pool. My phone proceeded to call 911 and tell them I was in a car crash. So my Sunday night wasn't very good, if I'm being honest with you, Bob. So it hit the bottom of the pool, and I walked away, and I'm like 20 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I should probably go get my phone out of the pool. Because, iPhones are waterproof. So it's like you're throwing and when I say throw, I kind of tossed it as I walked inside because I knew my phone was about to start blowing up, and I really didn't want to see any of it at that point, right? Luckily, your phone doesn't have service from the bottom of the pool, so nothing came of it. But I guess they have a new thing where they report that you've been in a car crash if the phone feels something. So yeah, that happened. It's a true story.
On top of listening to everything you're talking about at all times.
I
When I read that story, I didn't see the video until just now. I laughed. That probably wouldn't be my first inclination, but granted, I have not been in that position to lose out on the amount of money that probably Alex Bowman and the 48 team did for just being too light.
Well, and a lot of headlines from Alex Bowman with the whole Justin Haley thing. Everybody's been talking about that and asking him if he has a job or not.
Right. And the 48's had a great play.
Well, and he has. It's like he's buckled down and all right, I'm going to show you what I'm made of.
Yep.
And, yeah, just
a couple grades up there.
The best is his monotone. Yeah, and then I got my phone and I spiked it into the pool, and then I went inside and And I came back out, got my phone at the pool. Like, it's just he's like an emo kid. That's what I talked to him, and I talked to him this weekend. I was like, "Oh, what'd you do?" I was on Sunday. He's like, "Oh, I went to this festival last night." And he's like,
Vegas?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, who was the headliner?" And instead of he's like such an emo kid. He's like, "My Chem." Not My Chemical. My Chem was the
What is that?
My Chemical Romance is the name of the band. And I'm like, he's just like, it's such a Blink 182 guy. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I hate it for him. And that 48 team, because they still had a solid day. But too little too late, unfortunately, for that 48 team. But just enough for the 22 to punch this ticket to playoffs. You know who somebody else punched their ticket to the playoffs? AJ Allmendinger. Let's go ahead and get him in the Nonsense Garage, talk about him and that Colleague race in number 16 car, winning at Vegas and punching their ticket as well. So coming up right after the break.
I'm Ryan Flores. Join Kim Kuhn and myself each and every week right here at Around the Track. Whether you are going to the racetrack or watching from home, we get you ready for all things national and regional level.
And we'll tell you who and what to watch for each week. Plus, we get you ready for the weekend at the racetrack, and Erica will help you place your bets to win some easy money.
Be sure to check out Around the Track every Wednesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, guys, we're back. Like we talked about earlier in the show, AJ Allmendinger, 3-time Cup Series winner, 18-time Xfinity Series winner, and racing for an Xfinity Series Championship in the Nonsense Garage. Welcome, buddy. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Hey, thanks for the clap there. That was nice.
Golf clap.
The golf clap.
You deserve it.
Yeah,
you
I
earned the
appreciate
golf
that.
clap this week. Well, first off, thanks for coming in. Monday morning after a West Coast trek, but the night races after a Vegas trip are brutal, dude.
It was. We got home, no partying, so we can't even say that it was because of that. Like,
not even on the plane a little bit.
No. By the time I'm old now, I'm not young like you guys. So like it's no, we got on the plane and got home at 7 a.m. and thank God it was Sunday. Like that. Thankfully it wasn't like today, Monday, so I got to watch football all day, but yeah, your body just feels wrecked.
How was it like when you were on the Cup race at California when it was like night racing?
Oh,
you landed like
it sucked.
It was 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
It
Monday.
was just, especially the Labor Day races. I remember my first year.
Where was it? California?
Yeah, at California. It was 500-mile race, and it was starting at night, and the temp was like 114.
See, we were lucky back then because we had the Roush plane that would go straight through.
Yeah.
You didn't have to stop.
Ooh.
So it was always faster on the way back, but that was a rough.
Yeah.
That was a rough one. Xfinity races are a grind, though, because it's a long day. People don't realize how long the day is from
one-day shows.
Tech qualifying, and then by the time you get loaded up and head home, it's a 15-hour day at least at the racetrack. Then you got to travel home.
Luckily, we won, so the flight home was way, way better.
Makes it suck less.
Yeah,
no partying at all? Just like a cup of coffee? Like, yep, that was a good night.
Yeah, got home and saw Aero James and Tara, and they gave me some hugs, and we had some coffee, and then
kept it moving.
And that was it. Yeah.
How much has it changed winning now? Because no matter what you do or no matter how much you party, the diapers are going to have to be changed in the morning. Like we talk about that quite a bit, and I think it humbles you so much more, too, because you win, and you're on this high, and then you got to clean up
Yeah, I got to admit, my wife is pretty amazing, so she'll take care of that. It's more just my old age and how much it hurts. Like, once you party and you wake up, you're like,
yes, dude.
Man, I don't know if this is worth it, Like, it's... Have a couple cans of Celsius and some water, and I'm good
That'll
to go.
get you right where you want to be.
Yeah, that's it.
You feel your beard growing after one of those things.
It's
what are you, 40?
Huh?
What are you, 40?
Turned 43 in December.
You look damn good for
Chris Rice.
Rice
Asked me if I was 50 last week. we were pitted next to them.
So here's the difference. I've
50?
avoided manual labor my whole life. I've been paid to drive race cars for 23 years, so it's you avoid that.
And obviously, Colleague Racing's happy to have you because you're racing for a championship here in a couple of weeks. So what's it mean to be able to have a couple extra weeks of prep to work on that car, to go to the sim and really hone that thing in for a title run?
It's enormous because we suck at Phoenix. Like, we have sucked
You and
at
I
Phoenix.
were racing for last and dead last there in a couple races last year.
And the funny thing is like the old track, it was my first career pole. When they repaved it, I was faster than hell there. Like, it's not like I hate the racetrack. I really
you forgot
enjoy
how
the
to do it.
racetrack, but maybe that's it. But it's I don't know why. We've just at College Racing, and I think RCR as a whole, they have never, at least since I've been there, like the Xfinity carts have not been overly quick there. So to be able to do this in Vegas and spend now 3 weeks just trying to do everything we can to be as good as we can at Phoenix.
What do you think that looks like then?
So I think part of it is raw speed in the car, right? Like setup, there's something that goes with it, but just having raw speed in the car, I think we've done a good job over this year. We didn't have a lot of raw speed in the cars. We've done a good job to get more speed in the race cars, trying to get the right balance. We'll work on that, but just that's the biggest thing is you try to you have to do everything aero wise you can, because it is a fast racetrack. It doesn't seem like it sometimes on TV, but it's a fast racetrack. So, but it's just been a crazy year because, my last 2 years in Xfinity, we've had all the bonus points, and like you go through those races playing defense. Well, hell, we've had to play offense through this whole playoff run because we've been at the bottom of every playoff round when it starts. So Vegas was a special night for sure.
Well, you could tell by how excited you were.
Yes.
That is one thing I think people love, is obviously when you, in particular, win, you get very, very excited. And you were saying before we fired this thing up that you yelled so loud that you almost passed out.
I'm gonna have to. I'm getting to the point now. I'm probably gonna have to back it down a little bit because I crossed the line and just started screaming in the radio a lot of explicitives of how awesome we were. And by the time I rolled off into turn one, I about had passed myself out. Like I was like, just screaming, and I was like, I turned off in the corner. I was like, can't scream that much anymore. So yeah, and then by the time you get out in victory celebration, I'm sure people are like, damn, AJ's got to get in the gym, and he's out of breath a lot. I'm like, it's not the driving, I promise you. It's the screaming inside the race car. So, but this sport is. Sometimes guys like Kyle Larson and Blaney and these guys, like, they make it look, they win a lot. So it's kind of like they get out and they're like, yeah, win again. Larson, by the time he gets to a Sunday, he's already won like 7 races.
I know. During the week.
So he's pretty over it. And I spent a lot of years not winning. So I try to make sure everyone feels like the last one because you never know when it is.
Well, and Kaulig is a small team compared to the Penske's and the Hendricks of the world. And it feels like you guys carry that with you. You, Chris, and Matt are all pretty tight. What's that? How deep is that friendship? Because on TV, it looks like you guys are really close.
It's super deep. No joke that Matt and Chris are my bosses. But it never feels like that. From really, even when we started, they've just made me feel like such a huge part of the organization. And we've grown a lot, right? Like when I first got there, my first race with the team, they had never won a race, and Ross goes and wins Daytona. I remember walking in, and some of the banners are up on the wall, and I kind of laughed because I was used to walking in a place like Team Penske, and you walk into Richard Petty Motorsports and places like that, and there's just banners all. I remember walking into Penske, I was just like, damn, I just want one banner up here. Like, that's all I want. I want one. Like, there's 19 Borg Warner trophies sitting there. Like, just let me be a part of this history.
I work there, and I don't even realize I get emails about our cars winning in Bahrain and this race and that race, and I'm like, I don't even know we have those cars.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I did laugh at some of the banners. Like, they had like, hey, top 15 at Texas, and I was like, what the hell?
I got a funny story.
Yeah.
So, last year at Spire, we were trying to celebrate the small victories, right? And they started hanging top 10 plaques up on the wall. And I came in, I saw this. I said, what the f- are we doing? We're celebrating 9th place finishes now.
Yeah.
So a couple months go by, and we have a couple more up, and we win the the first kickball classic, and they printed me up like a 4-foot wide kickball classic banner on the wall, just as like a joke. So it's fun, but like that.
But at that point, it's
you have to like acknowledge
that's all you're
those
trying to
things.
do. I mean, they were trying to. You know, Chris always tells the story like back when there was that the rounds of qualifying, like when Blake would make it to the second round, you know, top 24, they were pretty pumped up about it.
Yeah.
To the point now where, I mean, I think when we hang this banner, it's something near 30 banners of wins. 2 of them are cup wins.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've grown together. So point of the story is like they've made me always feel like part of the team, and they let me be my personality. I mean, I'll cuss and scream at them, and there's no hard feelings. We're hard on each other. They're hard on me when they, you know, need me to kind of settle back down. So
Yeah.
That's what I've always loved about this organization.
I was thinking about this morning whenever Jeff told us you were coming on. I was excited about just to talk to you about your not even your NASCAR, your entire racing career. I feel like it could be a awesome Netflix documentary.
I've put myself through some stuff for sure. Like
Yeah.
I've always said, I've been so fortunate, had so many opportunities, and we know how the sport goes, right? Like I say that I earned them because I, you know, especially up through the ranks, I wanted everything I had to win at because we didn't have the money to go to the next series. But I was also so lucky that it just happened to find every series I went to, I happened to find that guy that was willing to front the money or had a race team. But yeah, to be able to look back at it whenever it does end and know that I've won a Rolex 24, I've won IndyCar races, won NASCAR races. Yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride. I've learned a lot. I've made some mistakes, but
Don't we
still
all?
here. But still here.
Well, and you're talking as if your journey's over. You're going back to Sundays,
Yeah, that's
bud.
true.
Yeah. Welcome
Yeah.
back to the show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like
I didn't say I was the smartest guy in the world either. So
how does that conversation go? Like you run Cup for a decade, go down, just clean shop in Xfinity. You're like, maybe I want to go back and taste Sunday a little bit. Like, what are those conversations? How does that process go?
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with Matt Collick and Chris Rice having a organization that believes in you. You know, believes that whatever I do is helping the organization and to get better, whether that's Xfinity or Cup. You know, this year, and I made it kind of fairly clear going into this year, like I didn't really want to move back to Xfinity. I wanted to keep trying to build the Cup program. But Matt, just the way this sport works, and he spends a lot of his own money at times. So the Cup side of it, unfortunately, had to kind of take a step back. Plus, they wanted the Xfinity side of it to
race for a championship.
To hopefully try to make the program a little bit better. You know, next year, you know, we got Christian Eckes and Daniel Dye, Josh Williams. You know, so I think the Xfinity side of it is bright, and you know,
you're a Sunday guy though.
I just want to, you know, you want to race against the best, and I might be in the minority here, but I actually don't mind driving the Cup car. I enjoy driving it. We do wish that there's more horsepower and a little bit better aero wise, so it's not aero sensitive. But I actually enjoy driving the race car. So
they are fickle.
Yeah, they are. Like, but you know, I also.
But they're not easy like some people make it out.
No, they're not easy, and you know, I mean, you've shown it all year that, you know, the big teams are still the big teams, but you get your stuff right, like you can run up front.
Yeah, you
so
can have top 10 days.
It's not back in 2015, 2016 when I was in Cup, where it's just all the big teams got all the aero tricks, and it doesn't matter what you're going to do.
You
as
know,
a smaller
kind
team,
of the 5-spot window you're going to run.
You know, most of the weekend you'd show up racing. God, if we can run 17th to 25th, like that's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
With these cars, you can still go run up front.
That's right. Well, you mentioned racing against the best, and we have seen now one of the best stock car drivers in SVG come over. What is it that he's doing? He's a friend of the show, comes on here often. My man, right foot breaker, which makes my brain hurt just to even watch his feet on how they work. What is it that he does with the Xfinity car that makes him so damn good?
Man, he's so world class. And I had this with Marcus Ambrose when I was teammates with him too.
Over at Petty's.
Yeah, it's that heel toe when you can use the clutch to keep the wheel hop out of it, and even like Marcus, I don't think SVG skips gears as much. Marcus, man, he would go from fourth to first and one downshift. Just like it was insane.
What would be the reason for that? Dumb question.
So he would do it just to help slow the car down, but they're so good with using the clutch to keep the wheel hop out of it too. Yeah. And then, I mean, we know how it goes is like once you start wheel hopping, what's it do? It's heating up the rear tires. Mm-hmm. So I remember going to VIR one time with Marcus, and we did this all day. We'd put a new set of tires on, and have you tested VIR?
No, never.
So the short course, like it would tear tires up. It was like Sonoma. Like you get like 4 or 5 good laps, and then by the time you go back out, it was 3/10, 4/10 slower, and you just and I did it all day. And it was like we'd put a new set of tires on. I put it on them. I'm like, got him. And then it was like we'd run back out the next run, same set of tires. We'd be about even. Then we'd go do another run. He'd be like 3/10 quicker, and that's like he was so good at saving the tires. I remember I said, you know what, F this. I'm going to learn how to heel toe. I ain't doing this. And then I backed it into the tire barrier going into turn 1 because I didn't know how to stop. So I was like, okay, that's over. So I think that's what SVG, he's so good about it. Like the Xfinity car, his rolling speed through the middle of the corner and how he gets off the corner like is phenomenal. And at times this year it's been frustrating, but the Roval is a perfect example. Like it makes me faster too. Like you got to learn because he shows like, hey, like, and the great thing about it is we talked about the car the same way. He feels the same things. He's just a little bit quicker doing it. So finally got to the Roval and was able to match all that in the Xfinity and the Cup car. So, but dude's world class for sure.
For sure.
Two races remain before the championship field is set, and the next stop is Miami, where living on the edge is the only way to advance. Don't be on the outside, be on the inside. It's NASCAR Inside the Playoffs on True TV and Max.
Yeah, I wondered if how that had been, because he's had a pretty steep learning curve, and I feel like there was a time where you were unbeatable on road courses, right? And then it's flipped a little bit, and I think it's been documented. Junior motorsports cars have been kind of leaps and bounds better than everybody else. But how have you guys worked together, and how do you see his career going for Cup?
Well, I mean, I think if you got talent, you got talent. So the ovals are going to be, and he's done a pretty good job at learning them. I think going to the Cup car, it's going to be at the next level just because the competition's so high. But he'll get there, and with the track house side of it, he's going to have great equipment to kind of learn in, and with Ross and Daniel over there. So,
and just the resources that Chevy has with simulator, that's the stuff you didn't have when you came in learning ovals.
No, and that's what I think you see all these kids, guys like Connor Zilic now. I mean, they get in, and it's like they've been driving. Like I didn't get in a race car until I was 18 years old. Now you see these guys, Keelan and like Zilic and all the you can go on down the line. Brent Cruz. I mean, like, they're driving cars at, like, 10, 11 years, like,
they're in every,
super late
when
models.
I turn on Flow, they're in every race I watch.
Yeah,
I'm like, what do they have, private planes to get every, like, they're in
probably,
everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's why you see the talent at these young guys is so high now. So, I mean, it's
that's why I wanted to ask, that transitions to the next question I want to ask. Is Arrow going to be a race car driver?
Oh, man, I keep forcing golf clubs in his hand. Like, it's,
So, wait till he gets a taste of a go-kart.
Yeah, well, we got so Tara bought him this Lambo that I can control. He can drive and I can control. He's not a huge fan of it yet.
Yeah.
So, but it's got a drift mode on it. But it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, I didn't have that when I was 13 months old.
Let's just say he takes to it.
Yeah.
What, like, your upbringing was road course karts, champ karts, open wheel kind of trajectory, right? And then you transition over to the stock car side. Nowadays, living here in North Carolina, what do you kind of put them in, and what directions do you take them?
So it's kind of funny. I actually thought I was going to be a dirt racer. Like, my dad raced nothing but dirt. We were at World of Outlaws events and sprint car events, all the Katings.
Where'd you grow up?
Northern California, yeah. So Brent Kating and I raced against Bud and Tim.
Gasser.
Yeah, when I was in quarter midgets, and I mean we were watching Thursday and Saturday Night Thunder like all the time. So it was kind of two things. I started in BMX bicycles. I wanted to be a supercross rider.
Same.
Like that was and to this day.
Do you still ride?
No, because that's. I mean, I've found pressing a gas pedal is way easier than pedaling.
Yes.
So, but I wanted to race Supercross so bad because I loved Ricky Johnson and Jeff Stanton, and then that transition to like Carmichael and those guys. So I raced BMX bikes for like 3-4 years, and I was like, all right, Mom, I'm ready to get on a motocross bike. She was like, the hell you are. This ain't happening. No. So then I was like, all right, well, I figured I'm just going to race sprint cars because this is what my dad, he races local dirt stuff. Just never did. So I went to like quarter midgets and then karting, and I loved road course stuff. So that's kind of, so I don't, for Arrow, it's if he wanted to do it, hopefully I have enough money to allow him to do what he wants to do.
Sign him up to Matt's development driver program.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I mean, the hell, for how many years that Chris and Matt keep signing me for, I mean, hell, maybe we'll just do the LeBron Ronnie thing, and I'll just be racing when I'm like 62, be like, hey, bud, let's do this. Which is, I do kind of laugh because, I mean, it's a good thing. I've been here long enough. I think I'm at like 12 to 14 racing against their dads and the sons, like in NASCAR. I think that's about where my number is if you can start going through them all.
Who would be one of those guys, you think?
Well, I mean, what, that I've raced against?
Yeah.
I mean, it started with Bill and Chase.
Yeah.
All the Burtons. I've raced against all the Burtons.
Blaney. Probably Blaney's.
Gilliland, the Blaneys.
You're like the conduit.
I told Lane Riggs when he drove our car last year, hey, I'm going to need you to, come run a race with me. So I raced against Scott and Lane,
Okay.
So yeah, I've been here a long time.
Well, we're lucky to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a super unique relationship, it looks like, from the outside looking in, because they kind of, like, I wouldn't say use you, but they place you where they need you to make the team better. That's what it looks like. And I would say that the thing that put Colleague Racing on the map more than anything was that win in Indy. And I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it was so kind of unexpected, right? Like, they were just building this cup car for the road course races and the super speedway races, and I felt like there was a couple of races during that year on the cup side, if we just had a pit crew like that, because we were always just putting things together, like, hey, we might have win these races. And Indy was the one that I thought there's no chance because we weren't very good in practice, and the whole debacle with the chicane, which I laughed about that, because they asked me if I had a trouble with it. I was like, well, no, because I knew if I hit that curb,
the guy behind you definitely is going to hit.
Well, not even that, but no, I was like, if I hit this curb, the car's on the ground, so it's probably going to rip the splitter off of it. So I just decided not to ever hit the curb. So that's why I always laughed about the incident.
Corey launched it.
Yeah.
The first year there.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, no, like, but all of a sudden we kind of won that race, and like that was, I mean, my whole dream of my life, especially as an open wheel guy, was like to be at Indy, like kissing the bricks. And I thought my chance was gone when I was leading the Indy 500. My seatbelts came undone.
What?
That happened to you too?
Yeah.
In what car?
In the Penske car, the 2 car.
That happened.
Yeah, to Wilt. Yeah.
How'd that feel?
It's when you turn off into turn 1 at 240, leading the race, and your body falls completely against the side of the race car. It's a little eye opening. So
Cam lock?
Yeah. Like,
I gotta ask a dumb question because I know the answer is
Do you
no.
lose
But was
sleep
there
about
any
that?
bit when you're leading the Indy 500? Was there any bit like
I think I could ride
I
this
could
one
ride
out.
this one out?
yeah, I mean, it's
You think about that for a second.
Well, so this is, I mean, literally how it happens. I go down the front straightaway.
How many to go?
There was 95 to go. That
Okay.
was the problem.
Halfway through.
Okay.
So I turn in, and we'd come. I mean, I'd qualified 5th. Had the first lap, like basically the worst first lap besides crashing. I went from 5th to like 24th in like a 3-lap span.
Oh, no.
And drove back through the field, leading the race, and turned off turn 1, and literally just went like this against the side of the car. And I was like, what the hell? Like, got reached down and felt the seatbelts.
Oh.
And I'm like, there's no way this is happening. And I remember going down the back straightaway, trying to fix it. Of course, in an Indy car, there's no chance you're going to fix it. So I was like about wrecking to turn 3, one-handed, trying to do it. So it's like, then I go down the front straightaway, and I like looked over at the pagoda, and I'm like calculating in my head, I'm like, how many laps till the next pit stop? Like 18 or 20? Like, that's probably not a good thing.
If there was 5, would you ride it out?
I probably would have rode it out, and definitely if there was like 15 to go in the race, I'd just been like, screw this. Like, if
Going for it,
this
bud.
is God's plan, this is God's plan. which
This is how I
psycho
wanna
to
go.
say, but like that's how we
That's
are.
how race car
But,
drivers think, dude.
So anyway, so we come in, we fix it, and it just put us on the back end of of the whole strategy. I ended up finishing 7th. So like, yeah, like do I lose sleep over it? No, but I thought that was the chance. So to win there in the Cup race, it was like dream come true.
What'd you think about Larson's attempt at the 500?
What I think of Kyle Larson, I think is the best driver in the world. So everything he did didn't surprise me, and it's nothing against, because I've raced it against a lot of those guys and know how talented. I mean, it's so competitive, and those guys are so good. But I told people, I'm like, I'm not going to be shocked if Kyle wins. Like, it'll be a little bit of a, okay, you had to beat the best of the best, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good Kyle is. So I just felt bad that it just ruined, like the day was ruined, right?
Yeah.
With the weather.
Dude, he was dejected.
So I hope next year the weather is perfect for him.
Yeah, we need Mother Nature to
Did he
cooperate.
reach out
for
to
that.
you at all? Ask you, or do you reach out to him at all and say, hey?
No, I
this is
I reach out to him as a fan most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Hey,
man,
I'm getting shirts.
like, hey, like
Got
you're
these
you're
shirts,
badass.
yeah,
Like,
got any mediums left?
yeah, like, hey, man, like
Some of those hats he wears, I'm like, damn, I wish I could wear that hat. It's
The
so
ones with the
badass.
flowers get me though. I'm like, watching Cliff walk around with a flower on his hat. I'm like, where'd you guys?
I can't wait to talk about Cliff Daniels and Pit Road Boats and Woes.
Oh yeah.
Well, what else we got? We
Dude,
got
I'm
3
excited.
questions.
Just listening to you, right? It's no secret that call cars have been off, and I think Chris Rice wears it. You can see like how the cars are running in his face, right?
Yeah.
He could smile at somebody today all he wants, but those who know when it's good, when it's bad. And he's really boots on the ground. But to win at Vegas has to give you a lot of optimism, because that is, and I think we saw it with SVG, like in the Cup car. He's been able to do well, but that place is hard.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, I sit here listening to you. You said we need to have raw speed. You have to have that at Vegas. You need to have aero. You have to have that at Vegas. Your pit crew obviously did a good job, because you
Yeah.
have to have that. So I'm super excited for you guys going to Phoenix. And yeah, man, I want to see you guys hang a championship banner. I want to see you do that for Colligan, and I just want to say, as a fan myself, good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, it was it's just crazy how the years went, because honestly, after Kansas, which was our first race in the playoffs, like, we were god awful. Like, I got out of the car, I'm like,
See you boys next year.
and I was just like, I was so dejected, because I thought, all right, mile and a half, and Kansas hasn't always been our best racetrack, but I thought, it was horrendous.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you guys were on the outside of the top 10, right?
yeah, I mean, I battled a lap down for
Oh,
18th coming to the line.
But if you can survive and advance
Yeah.
that, it is
And
a
that's-
good kick in the ass for your team when you run that.
And that
bad.
was it. And I laughed going to the people are like, well, you got the roll ball. I was like, no, I probably got a better chance the way this is going to win at Talladega. And then we ran up front. But yeah, to go to Vegas, what I liked out of it at the most was we sat down after last week, and Chris and myself and Alex Jans, which is my crew chief, it's like, AJ was like, what do you need? I was like, I need it to feel exactly like this in the middle of the corner, because I'd looked at the weather. The weather was going to play a part in our
Vegas.
favor at Vegas. I'd
Yep.
already looked at the weather. This is on a Monday. I said, cold front's coming in. Our cars notoriously are
Weatherman.
better.
You guys got the farmer's
Weatherman,
almanac
AJ.
out.
I said, and really true. I was like, notoriously, the spring race
Yeah.
were always better than the summer race, because it's hot and slick. You got to
Yeah.
run the fence. We're just not, sometimes I'm not as good running the fence. I love digging around the bottom.
Yep.
And I said, man, it's cold front's coming in. It's going to be a night race. I was like, I want it to feel like the 21 spring race, where it's the left front just digging around the apron. And hopefully we got enough lateral grip getting in the corner to make that happen.
And it came to you.
And that's what we did. And that to me is winning and all that. But the coolest that we sat down and Alex Jans designed the car around that, and we unloaded it, and it was free. But I was like, you gave me the feel I want.
Yeah.
Now we just got to get the rear grip in it. And
well, it didn't
obviously
happen
we
by
did.
coincidence.
That's
Yeah.
the best. Like you said, that's the
Yeah.
best feeling. That's when you're like,
I do know.
that's when you're like, I think I'm gonna go do TV, and then you do that. You go, no,
Nah.
I'm gonna keep driving these race cars. I love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's 1,000% exactly what it is.
Well, AJ, this is the first time you've been on Sag and Penny, so one, I appreciate it. Two, there's 3 questions that we give all of our special guests.
Okay.
So if you have driven probably more cars than many of the average race car drivers, if you had to pick one race car and one racetrack to race at for the rest of your life, what do you pick?
Champ Car, Surfers Paradise, Australia.
Okay, that was quick.
Why? Because a Champ Car on a street course, and even when I ran it, they had detuned the horsepower a little bit, so we were around 800. But
weighed what, 1,500 pounds?
yeah, and the Surfers Paradise Street Course race, like, A, was a lot of fun for several reasons, and B, it was the most crazy street course track I'd ever seen in my life.
What about it?
So if you go watch it, the old the back chicane where we'd go left, right, left, you know, back. Like on TV, it doesn't do it justice. It is like this. Like, I mean, it is angled up and just sloped so much. So to go through there every lap, especially in qualifying, just holding your breath, trying to get it all. Like when you did a lap around there, you were like, okay, I'm a badass. Like this, that's a lap there.
What was the difference between Champ cars and Indy cars? I never.
So, well, back when I raced it, like they mostly ran ovals, was IRL, and it was normally aspirated, completely different chassis, like a Delore chassis.
That much different. Really?
Yeah, there was no transition of cars. You couldn't go over, so they were a good bit different.
Yeah. Question number 2: what's your most embarrassing moment at the racetrack?
This is easy. So we talk about the Indy 500. Great weekend, great month to race for Roger Penske. Have him be your play caller basically during the race.
Oh, he was your race
Walk
director?
down gasoline alley with Roger Penske. Like coolest month of my life. I went to Detroit the next week and I crashed twice on the opening lap. It was a double header and I made 6 corners in 2 days.
That's also his event that he puts on.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went from all that momentum, feeling like I was a badass, to like wanting to go into a hole and just disappear forever.
That's the other end where you're like, I think I might go do TV.
Yeah,
that's the other end of what happened this weekend.
I went back to that and I was like,
cold tires. What happened?
So the first day I was actually trying to defend Elio, which was my teammate. He was battling for the championship, and we went down on the corner on the start, and I could have went under him, and I thought, no, I'm gonna be smart and kind of tuck in behind him and just kind of block for him. Well, it put me 3 wide, and I just got sandwiched, and I launched over the top of Scott Dixon. I remember taking off and thought, I'm going to clear Belle Isle. Like, it took off like an airplane. I was like, I don't know what's on the other side of the fence out of the racetrack, but I'm going to land on it.
Tell him I'm coming.
So that was the first race. Well, I thought I broke so my thumb was all messed up. So they shot it up the next day. I went through turn 1, and the thing got sideways, and I couldn't catch it and just smashed the wall. So
brutal.
I just remember,
get me out of Detroit.
Dude, it was like the worst. And I love Jamie Little for this because she like knew she had to interview me, and she probably stood next to me for 20 minutes, just like
not wanting.
Whenever you want, AJ. I'm like, Roger just sat there just stood there next to me, and he didn't say anything for 40 laps. And he's like, "You good?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, sir." And he's like, "Yeah." And that was it. That was like, oh my God. I'm like, just end my life now. Like this is.
There's nothing worse than a disappointing look from Roger Penske.
Yeah, and the best part of it was my race engineer. He finally goes, "Man, it's just all stories at the end." I'm like,
it is the that you laugh about.
And I was just like, the hell are you talking about, Ron? He's like, it's just stories, man. Think about it. You know, we're end of our lives. Like, what do you got? You got stories. He's like, last week, pretty damn cool story. Leading the Indy 500 seatbelt came undone.
Yep.
Who happens? He's like, this week, it's not such a good story, but it's still part of your story.
Is it Ron?
Yep.
Oh, he's the boss. He's the big boss over there.
Yep.
Hey, good thing your seatbelt stayed attached. In Detroit.
Yeah.
That's the silver
it
lining.
was. So yeah, that's definitely the most embarrassing.
All right, AJ, last question, then we'll let you go. You've been so gracious with your time. If I had like the Men in Black pen, so kids actually, there's been a couple people, Connor Zillich one, there's been a couple people on here that don't know the reference of like the memory zapper pen. If I had that, and you could only keep one of your racing memories, what is that?
That's a really good question actually, because there's 2 that come out to mind.
I like to hear both.
It's Rolex, winning Rolex, and the reason.
For Chip?
No, that was for Mike Shank, because
Okay.
that's all I've ever raced Rolex with. Is Mike Shank and Meyer Shank Racing, but back then it was just Mike Shank, and we tried for 7 years, and then one of my teammates, Oz Negri, when I was in Barber Dodge, he was one of my driver coaches. So, and then Justin Wilson, which Justin was my teammate in Champ Cars, to me one of the fastest drivers ever on this planet, and you know. Now that he's passed away, it makes it even more special. And John Pugh, which was like the gentleman guy that worked so hard and, you know, helped keep Mike afloat at times.
Yep.
But anyway, so we tried so many years to win that race, so we won in 2012. So that memory will always stand out. So just for so many reasons.
Do you wear the watch?
When I get in a sad place about if I suck,
I'm
like, let me get that watch back out. Just put that on. Just walk out to Birkdale a little bit.
Yeah,
shining
in the light.
Walk into Ease or something. I'm like, let me get a little. What time is that? All right. So, and then Indy Cup race like that.
Yeah, those are two good.
Yeah.
ones.
Hopefully you have a new one in 3 weeks where you have
I hope so.
Arrow and Tara on the stage there. That'd be really cool.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Well, we appreciate you, and all the Stacking Pennies fans do as well. Hey, root for the 16 car here in a couple weeks at Phoenix. AJ Allmendinger in the Nonsense Garage.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, AJ.
Less than this ruler determine the winner of the race. You put him in this position, and we're having the conversation today about why did every other crew chief miss the two-stop strategy. This is Formula One racing, this is road course racing, and this is also short track racing.
You've only got to get to here, just over a carway.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race each week on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
And we're back. Pit Road Boats and Woes time. Several woes from Saturday night as well as Sunday. Big woe from the 5. But before we get into that, we're going to get into a little bit of a woe here from the fuel man of the 11 Josh Williams Chevy Camaro. Justin Wilson's the fueler here. A little bit of an issue. Talk to me through.
So he comes back, he swaps cans. When he grabs the second one, there is a cap where they fill the can up.
Oh, no.
And he hits it with his hand and turns it off. He tries to cover it. Hopefully they weren't on a full fuel run. You see that thing? It's a closed system.
Dude.
So the minute any air is introduced, it just slows down. But, man, he is covered in gas right now.
Fuel.
There's a lot of fuel on the ground. Thank God no spark. That would have been a
huge
large fire. But, yeah, that's not the first time that's ever happened. That's something that does happen from time to time. They all run the same Schultz cans. So it's really important. Like, you think about the little stuff during a pit stop. If he had a different truck driver or somebody there handing him his can and he didn't get high enough, like there's those little, 2-inch nuances where you put your hand that
it's like a quarterback, running back handoff.
That's it. But he did and those handoffs are super important, especially those small cans now, because you're trying to get as much fuel as you can while the guys do fast pit stops. So he did the best he could do with the situation. Obviously, it's a situation. But
thank God there wasn't a spark.
Yeah, thank God there wasn't a spark, and they just kept on going. It's kind of been a metaphor for Josh Williams' year. They've had a tough go at it this year. But next one, we have the 43 car. I didn't see anything here, but
his right front tire fell off. Oh,
the 43's right front tire fell off.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh,
that's tough. New crew chief on the 43.
Yeah.
So we've documented that. That's hard calling him into the box. Yeah. Who's crew chief in the 43 now?
Ben Beshore.
So Ben switched to Eric. So
he's not new.
He's not new, but he was
new to the 43.
He's new with the 43. So the lingo and talking together and figuring it all out is
that's
really
a hard
tough.
spot to be, because when you're pulling in as a driver, so we get one to go. He just chose, and then boom.
Oh no.
Yep.
Take from a guy who's had a right front fall off before. It's the worst feeling as a pit crew guy ever.
Dang.
I wonder if you have another shot of this. Oh, that's a suspension too. I wonder if you have a shot of the pit stop from this to try to digest it. No, we don't have one. Man, it's so hard. You're going so fast. We saw some of the best teams in the business this weekend, the 11 and the 5. The 11 had two different issues. I don't know what's going on with the 11 right now. Ooh, can you rewind that real quick?
Oh.
So Joel, it starts to Joel. If he got his hands wrong on the spoke or something, he kind of gets stuffed. Same thing on the left rear. If he didn't get it on the pins and the rear changer had to run it up. He is stopping very short. which they must have somebody coming around them late, maybe. Just that orange mark at the front of the box is where they should be stopping. Now, with nobody in front of him, that's quite a ways off the stop. Oh, he has to back up.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
So they're worried about a left rear tire being tight here. So he comes back. Now he's out of the pit stall.
Yeah,
so
go forward a little bit here. Imagine that if they'd have hit that thing and then a lap penalty.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's loose.
Okay, so go back to this stop here.
Dude, tail end of lead
Go
lap.
back to let me watch that stop. So here they come.
I think all things considered with how bad this stop was, they still salvaged a day.
They salvaged a day, but dude, when you're talking about the margins that it's going to take to make the final four,
Yeah, 8th place
little
ain't gonna
stage
cut it.
point, like 3 or 4 stage points here,
Yep.
5 or 6 spots at the end of the race, and this is by all accounts, throughout the regular season, this was the best team of the regular season. Now they have had a dismal last couple of weeks and a little bit of a dismal playoff, but don't count them out. Their team, the 20 team, is crushing it right now. Their teammates, but yeah, that's a big part of the job is failing fast and getting back from it. And these guys have had a couple of races now where they have had some trouble, and then it kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
So it's easy to do, man.
Do you
once
start
it goes
chasing?
bad.
Do you just start thinking about all the ways that you are going to have a bad stop, or like
get
think of
tight.
like you just
get
don't have a
tight.
bad stop. Don't have a bad stop. Ah, we had a bad stop.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
The yips.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No.
Don't say the yips. Is that what's that?
Ted Lasso, right?
Ted Lasso. Yeah, he's got the yips. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get that, man. That's a real thing, and confidence is earned. You can't create it any other way.
It's
So
easy
they
to
have to
lose.
find a way.
Hard to gain.
They got to find a way from Monday to Friday, or probably Tuesday to Thursday at practice to gain confidence back. They know they are the guys. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great at what they do. They're some of the best on pit road. So they're gonna have to have some tough conversations as a team and try to get that magic back from.
What
the
about
year.
this operation of the 5 car?
I don't know if they have intercoms or not. I've heard both. I've heard that they do, and I've heard that they don't. So Calvin Teague, if we stop it right here,
hey, we got it right.
If we
this
stop
sucker
it right
tight.
there.
So a 5 car comes in right side, drops the jack, right rear's tire. The changer's gone.
So Calvin stays on it. RJ almost falls over him, right? So Calvin stays on it, and then he leaves. Built into their check somewhere, Cliff has it built in to where if something like that happens, RJ turns around and looks at it. He looks at it. There's usually a painted line on the snout.
If you don't see
the
it,
nut is not past that painted line, it is not tight. If it is past that painted line, it could still not be tight, but it's probably not going to fall off.
Yeah.
If it's not past that painted line, it's ejecting quickly.
Yeah. Potentially a playoff ending issue for the 5 if that happens.
You never count this guy out.
That's
He
right.
could win every race from now to the next Indy 500. You never know.
Right.
Including dirt races, street stock races.
Doesn't matter.
Downhill Pinewood Derby cars. So, RJ, champion of the sport. Calvin Teague, these guys, some of the best guys that have ever done it. He says, you got to come back. You got to come back and tighten this. This is under green. You got to come back and tighten this.
Oh, my goodness.
They come back, they tighten it, but here's the biggest debacle. During this whole thing, they ran around to the left front. They already had the left front off, so they changed it. Calvin, when he heard that, was trying to figure it up. He gets back, runs to the right rear, never changed the left rear. So it was just the wires crossed kind of everywhere. And
oh, no.
then they had to come back again. So that is obviously something that happens under green quite a bit because your body is already under green flag stops because it's loud and there's a lot going on. You're already inherently in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Like
Chaos.
Mental mistakes under green flag stops are more prevalent. It seems from the years that I've been doing it, like big debacles come under green flag stops, especially when you're pitted towards the end of pit road. I've seen too. I don't know where they were, but yeah, it was a tough one for them. But man, kudos to Kyle Larson, right? Kyle said, I make a lot more mistakes throughout the course of the year than my pit crew does. So we'll figure out, we'll learn from this. They scratched and clawed to 11th place day. Cliff's going to make it better. He knows he's got great guys there. And at the very end of the day, they went back out on the track with all their wheels tight. Nothing fell off. And
to fight another day.
They were able to salvage it. So they leave without that right rear tight. They finish 30th, and they have some people suspended. So no matter how much of a I don't know, goat roping it looked like. It ended up being the right thing. It's like when
Not
it's
being
like when
catastrophically
yeah,
bad.
it's like when pilots, talk about like, hey, at the end of the day we landed and everybody was safe. So yeah.
Where'd he end up? 11th?
11th.
Yep.
That brings us to the dogs of the week. It's a tough one. I was gonna be real stingy here, but I'm gonna give it to the 20 car. The 20 car had a great day. They did everything they had to do. I was gonna maybe take it away from them and give it to the 22.
No, because they didn't stop the last.
That's a joke because the 22 stole their glory.
Yeah,
I was gonna let them steal their glory again, but no, the 20 car had a great day, man. They've been over the last couple of races. They've been the best car on pit road. Led by Adam Stevens, Blake Houston, great mustache, even better tire changer, front changer. Michael Hicks, Jake Holmes, Darrell Edwards, Peyton Moore.
Dogs.
Michael Hicks and Darrell have a show out on NASCAR's platform called Drop the Jack. You can check that out, learn more about those guys. Good for them, man. Michael Hicks been one of the best. Another story here. Michael Hicks has been one of the best tire changers on pit road for the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah.
But just like Denny Hamlin, he's never won a championship. He's been chasing a championship. He's won like 15 Daytona 500s, 3,040 races, a couple pit crew challenges. He's got a bunch of rings, but no championship rings, so we'll see if he can change that this year. But, man, I do not like how dejected Chris Bell was after that run.
I didn't see it.
He was mad.
He was big mad?
Big mad, big sad, all the emotions. And, I would think if I was him, like, I would be happy that we had a day where we
executed
stage point, maximized stage points, finished second, big points buffer, eyes forward,
and they executed.
And it was just a big time. Listen to this. It was just a big time adrenaline dump where they were just like he comes across the line. He said, "Are you effing kidding me?" And he was.
Was he mad at the 12?
He was just mad that they lost.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was mad at anybody. He seemed to be a little mad at the 12, but even Blaney was like, I was running the top. He should have got. I didn't block him.
No.
I didn't do anything. He's like, should have got to the 22 faster. I don't tell him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here you go.
You've got to be kidding me.
Good job, buddy.
That sucks, buddy. That sucks real bad, but it wasn't meant to be. We did all we could do. Great car, fellas. Great job on pit road.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fiery.
That's fiery, but
hey, that's what the playoffs do.
It's racing, man.
Bring out that motion.
It's racing. We had a situation.
Bring out that motion.
This brings us to our question of the week. We had a situation where we wrecked in practice. We didn't get pit stall selection. It was a very challenging day. Coming around the 24, 34 was coming around us. You also lost pit stall selection. You guys failed twice going through tech. How does that affect your day? I know how it affects my day as a pit crew guy. My goals are different because I have to control my tire, especially if 34 stays on the lead lap. If I qualify well and I have an opening out, I could be a little bit more aggressive with rolling my tire. I can attack more and just chase speed, where there's a couple more guardrails that are put up if we have a bad pits box.
Yeah.
Or let's not call it bad. I'm really big on language right now. A challenging pit box, right? There was one situation where Blaney was coming around the 24 and then angling back out, and if you still try to be aggressive in that situation, I got too close to the car, bound the pole up a little bit. So it's stuff that you only learn from years of doing it, but it definitely is more to navigate throughout the race. Is that challenging for you as a driver as well?
Especially if Vegas pit boxes are decent size, so you're not that worried about it.
Slick though, buddy.
They're slick. We started putting track plate down though, so it wasn't too bad. The worst is if there's 3 pit boxes and the one that's closest to turn 4 is the guy that comes in first.
Yep.
And it goes in like first box, second box, third box, because then the first 2 guys have to nose in.
That's exactly what we had.
That's the worst. That's the worst scenario. Could be because then you're stuck. Essentially, like you are in that box all day of stuck behind this guy because you can't get a good exit out of your box, can't get a good entry to straighten out and nose out. So yeah, that's why you got to qualify good and get a good pit box.
That also
especially
went into
Martinsville.
That I believe that went into our thought process as well. End of stage 1, there's a time where you could do 2 tires, And one of the things that we said is like, okay, well, you're going to put a fresh set of tires on this thing, or we put our scuffs on.
Yeah.
But if we put a fresh set of right sides on it, we're down a set, and there's like a 65-75% chance that we get blocked in anyway. Yes. So we come out with 2 tires on we're the first car on 2,
and you get eat up.
And we do like the 11 car go backwards.
Yeah.
I think Blaney was a little frustrated about not taking 2 there, but he didn't see the full picture until after the run. But yeah, man, that not having a good pit stall is definitely
limit your calls.
It's definitely a guardrail for you.
You guys fired off some good hashtag Penny for Your Thoughts questions this week. What do we got?
First one comes from John. I don't know how to say his name. John's Shish. John's Shish 8.
Shish.
Do teams bring extra crew members in case of an injury? Example: who filled in on the 2 team? Who got hurt on 2?
I don't know. You would know this. That's why you worked
Nobody
there.
got hurt on 2. Oh, they
22.
were saying so. They had just the 2 car had crashed, so the guys were sitting at the truck. So let me start from the beginning. You're not allowed to bring extra crew members. Roster doesn't allow it. So what happens in that situation? The 2 car had crashed. They were out. Their guys were at the box. They had a small issue with the guy on the 22, so they just sent one of the 2 car guys out there.
But what happens if there's an injury?
Then the guy, like if you're wrecked, the guy from the 2 car will
What
go
if there's no wreck?
Then they'll probably come down and take a guy off of the 38 or off of the 21.
Then what's that guy do?
Then they backfill with
car chief or
somebody that they have to change tires.
Okay.
Most of the time somebody's crashed, but like if the pit coach has to get suited up and go in, they'll have to get suited up and go in.
Okay.
Some teams do it differently. Some teams roster a pit crew guy under admin space, but it all depends on how you work your roster spots. We do not have backups ready to go.
Looks like a question from down under.
Yeah. Would you come race supercars or run a wild card at Bathurst?
That would be an absolute blast. I think I would get the absolute brakes beat off myself, though. One, I think driving from the right side, I would not know what the hell's going on. I would love that opportunity. I believe Brody Kostecki, good friend of mine, won Bathurst 1000 this week. So he's a dude. I'm glad to see him get back in the V8 Supercars. He's had a little bit of a confusing year if you follow it. I'd like to see him back over the States, cutting some laps with us as well. But yes, I would love that. I just don't foresee that in my cards. But who knows? I wouldn't say no if the opportunity presented itself.
We know George.
George Meideke is on the wall in Ford Performance.
Is he?
Yeah, they have like a wall of winners this year, and
the Mustang's in there.
Yeah,
let's go, George.
Yeah, he's on there twice. I was gonna take a picture and fire it off in the chat.
Last one. It's a wresting-based question. Skip, what position would
see how
Braun
big that son of a
I
was?
did not. I didn't get to see him.
My God!
I'm out there working. I'm in the coal mines. You guys are up there on the stage.
Yeah, we're taking pictures.
I'm there grinding. So, Skip, what position would Braun Strowman and Rey Mysterio be on pit crew? This is easy. Rey Mysterio would be a tire changer. Braun Strowman is too big to do anything else other than gas. So he would gas more wrestling.
I think he could actually be the jack man and not need a jack.
Just pick the car up.
Like,
look. One more wrestling question.
So we were walking to driver intros from driver's meeting, and Bubba and I were walking next to each other, and we were right behind Rey Mysterio and Braun Strowman. And I'm 6'1". He is a head taller than me, and his shoulders are like this wide, dude.
Large
tank top, doing the, And I tapped him on the back. I said, "Braun, did you hear what Bubba just said about you?"
Said you're a.
Said you're a little bitch. I did say that. He laughed it off. He would, dude. He could like break just like it.
I was watching 300 last night. It's like when Leonidas has to fight that gigantic monster guy.
Dude, I love that movie.
Oh, me too.
So much.
I'm getting fired up.
Rey Mysterio is the 619 was one of my favorite moves in wrestling.
That's it. Hey, that leads us to our next question. One more wrestling question from the same person. Their Instagram name is too long to read. It starts with Justin.
Justin Sheldon Photography.
Okay, you read it. One more wrestling question. What would your guys' finishing move be?
The 619 is a great one. I remember my brother and I, we shared a room growing up, and we would do the 5-star frog splash. Remember that? I forgot who did that move.
Is it not Superfly Jimmy Snuka?
No. We could pull it up and we'll put it on the YouTube version here. But they jump off the ropes and do like. But I'm kind of in a big wrestling kick right now, guys, because I just got done watching the Mr. McMahon Netflix doc.
Oh, yeah.
It's freaking electric, dude. Wild stuff there.
Oh, it was RVD, dude.
Yes.
He was one of my favorites. We were ECW kids growing up. It was close to Philly. I don't know, I don't. You know what I always liked?
Dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin, so
one
awesome.
that's always lived rent-free in my head is the Razor's Edge. Razor Ramon had a cool one back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm an Attitude Era kid.
Yeah.
So,
dude, they cover all that in that documentary. All of it. I didn't even know, maybe because I'm just like a wrestling novice, I didn't know where Austin 316 comes from. Did you know that?
I heard it before.
He was wrestling some guy that was like a his kind of character was like a Bible. like a Bible.
Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass."
I just whooped your ass.
Yeah, he came up with that out of nowhere.
He did, yeah.
His whole story is really interesting too.
And what's he say? And that's the
bottom line.
That's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
Oh yeah, I when I was a kid, we went to Madison Square Garden, and he did the thing, and the beer got on me.
Wow.
Yeah, look at me. Live to tell about it.
It's like you're baptized from stuff.
Baptism by Coors Light. Speaking of baptism by fire, did you see the Rico Abreu video?
Oh my God.
From this weekend? Jeff Polich, one of our producers, sent this in the group chat. Rico gets branded. So, backstory, Rico's family owns, they're in farming in...
they own some vineyards.
In Northern California,
yep.
And I would imagine they've branded some cattle. So... Jeff Polich sent this, I guess, by way of Kenny Wallace.
And he took it on the chest.
And he goes, "Can you believe this?" And I said, "That just looks like an average night with sprint car racers."
Yeah, it's like they would do that at the bar in Knoxville.
Yeah, dingus. Look at him. Look at his face.
Dude. Oh my God. I wonder how Rico's doing these days.
He looks like he's doing just fine.
Do you put Neosporin on that? Do you, like, ride it out? What happens?
Hey man, if you're gonna,
he's thinking like, man, what kind of life choices am I making right now?
He's like, man, it's really gonna hurt when this.
Oh man, that's some Yellowstone type there.
Yeah, it is. If you wear that brand, you can't leave. You got to go to the train station.
Higgy? Did you just ask what kind of brand would I get?
What kind of brand would you get if you had to get a brand?
Oh man, there's no logo. The 7. Oh, I'm glad I didn't get that one.
Well, there's one guy.
Got
the 7 tat and the 51 tat. What a stud.
We're talking about brands. Not tattoos.
It's the same thing.
I don't know what I would get. But if I were to get any brand, it would be in my ass cheek. What would you get a brand of? New Jersey?
Probably
and the Long John Silvers on your arm?
Alpha Vision Media 91 truck that's going to run at Martinsville because I'm such a good friend. Or the off-axis logo.
Or maybe I might get the Celsius logo.
Oh, man.
On my butt cheek.
Yeah. Hope they don't bail.
Yeah, I know.
Be a hard one to explain to Red Bull one day if they bailed on you.
Yeah, but Penny Sags of the Week. You had one?
Yes, I did. Jerry from Arizona. I was standing in line to get my my room key at South Point where the racers stay, and he was just standing there. I forgot my wallet
at the house.
Well, I couldn't find it, and my wife and kids went away up to Raleigh to be with her brother for the weekend, and they were gone for a day, and
your life was in shambles.
Didn't eat dinner on time. Couldn't find my wallet. Probably didn't drink enough water. I was like in shambles. No laundry. I was like, what is going on? So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I got this expired passport. I'm like, I hope they give me my room key.
Yeah.
And Jerry's like, are you Brian Flores? I'm like, I am. He's like, man, I love the podcast. And he said that he's been a fan for a long time and he learns a lot listening to our podcast, which is, I told him that's why we do it. So
was he the front desk fella?
No, he was just standing in line getting his key. Yep, there to watch the race. So
thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, good talking to you, Jerry.
There was a girl at the racetrack as well. She made me there in the truck on the way home from Vegas at the moment some coasters for our table out of like epoxy, black epoxy with like heads up pennies on them. They're awesome. I forgot her name. I think it's Kelly, but it's not Kelly. They go to Sonoma as well. So you know who you are. You're also the penny stacker of the week. Sorry, I forgot your name. It was right before practice. It was all a blur.
It's all a blur.
Nothing really grind my gears this week.
It's good.
You?
Nope. I mean, wrecking.
Yeah.
We've but there's nothing we can do about
Stop
that.
doing that.
And man, I'm really happy for our Penske group and everybody involved, and ready to head on to Homestead, man. Listen to Spare Change this week. We'll break down Homestead for you.
Yep, a lot of cool stuff there, as well as the Arctic Ice Cold trivia on @_stacking pennies on Instagram. Tune into that, or you can like, download, share, rate, review, all of where you find your podcasts. We appreciate you guys listening, whether it's on Sirius XM Channel 90 or YouTube as well. 3 more, guys. 3 more races. Who is it going to be racing for a Cup Series championship? We're all going to find out this weekend. Tune in. Keep stacking pennies each and every day. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day. Goodbye.